when I had my church, that for a while there was like a pandemic. I mean, people that they had been married 30 years, 20 years, they were having problems.
Mm-hmm.
The same couple was coming to your church. Then when I started my church, they were coming to my church.
Right.
And so one day she called me and she said, we having a problem. You have to do something about it. Then her husband called me half hour later. We having problems. You got to do something about it. So while I talked to the wife, God spoke to me. Tell her if she and her husband worship me together, their marriage will get fixed.
Yeah.
And so I told him the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I said, well, I told your wife this. I tell you the same thing. I said, worship together. And your marriage, you're going to look at each other and say, why are we fighting?
Yeah, that's good. That's good advice.
And a week later they called. Oh, it got worse. I said, have you done what I said? No. I said, well, I have nothing else to say. You have to be direct with people.
Yeah.
You cannot hide sin.
Yeah.
And so they saw that I was not going to play the game.
Mm-hmm.
And they decided to do it.
Yeah.
They called me back. They said, we just looked at each other one day after we were worshiping. And we said, why are we fighting?
Yeah. Before I became a Christian, I was just a hippie, in the 70s. And I was so tired of the party life. That's what I was living at the time. Just, all the things in the 60s and 70s that was going on. Well, I was right in the middle of it. I was in my dorm room by myself. And I got on my knees and I said, God, it's just not of interest anymore. It's so empty, and is this it? And I literally said that to God on my knees. I said, is that it? Is that all there is? Is it just live for Friday and, go back to school on Monday? And, for those of you in college, there's no easier life than going to college. So if you can't handle college, you're not ever going to handle real life. Life is much harder. And so, but even then I was bored with it all. I was just, there's got to be more. And I said these words. I said, Jesus, if you're real, I want to follow you. The next morning I woke up, I'm telling you, my life was completely different. I didn't get high anymore. I didn't smoke anymore. I didn't swear anymore. My roommate, I was telling him about it. And I'm like, something happened to me, the sky looked bluer and the grass looked greener. And my whole life was just something happened. And he goes, I'll give you 2 weeks. Well, that's been 54 years since then, But that's what happened to me is I put aside those things. I didn't want them anymore. And I was hoping that God had a way out of this thing, that he had a way out of this sin and this mess and the pleasure of sin for a season. It's so empty. When it's over, it's just so empty. And then you need more and more and more. And that life is just so empty. And I was like, Jesus, is there something else? Is there a better way? And he showed me righteousness. He showed me, yeah, you can live this way. And all those things just fell off me. That just happens to be my testimony. Some people work through them. I know my wife, Nina, she worked through some things for a while, a year or so. She was just working through, but it just happened to me just overnight. And I was just a different person. And I just started telling every human being I knew what happened to me. God changed me. I gave up this world, and he gave me a whole new world, a whole new kingdom.